Hello, lads, ladies, and lovelies. I am back with another book review. I do hope all of you are having a very, very nice day, and it is a very nice day today. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, which means staying inside and reading more books, basically. Unless you like to read it outside, but I can't because I have allergies. It's so bad that it's affecting my throat. I have no idea why, but hopefully it will go away soon. Anyway, today it'll be another book review. This is another detective book, but it's a bit of a young reader, teen / young adult kind of theme. I saw this in the library and I thought it is really, really cute. Particularly for the fact that it reminds me of an indie game that I exceedingly love, which I will talk about a bit more, and maybe it will interest you guys as well, because this isn't just a standalone, this is also a series of 3 books, so I am intended to read more of the series because I very much enjoyed this book. And this is Agatha Audley, Secret Key by Lena Jones. So as you can clearly tell, this is a teens book, but it's quite, I do find, but it still makes you think like a detective book. It takes a bit to figure things out, and I very much enjoy it. It's very easy to read. I do love the characters, and I do love the case itself. So as you can tell, this book is focusing around the main character called Agatha Audley. As you can immediately tell by the name, her mother, specifically, not sure about her dad, but her mother is a big fan of Agatha Christie books, which calls Agatha Audley to be a big fan of Agatha Christie as well, her namesake, particularly the Poirot books, who the main detective, is it Hercule Poirot, she sees an image of when she's trying to figure out this case. And she does remind me of the game that I talked about called Jenny LeClue. Now, for people who does not know who Jenny LeClue is, or what Jenny LeClue was, it's a indie detective interactive game that you can easily buy off Steam. I very much enjoyed it, but it does give off this kind of similar style. And both Agatha Audley and Jenny LeClue does give off the vibe of wanting to challenge their detective skills more. And that's the thing with Agatha Audley. So she is very much into doing detective skills, being a detective and wanting to solve cases. At the beginning, she only did like simple kids cases, or like who stole someone's lunch money, who graffitied the toilets and things like that. But then she witnessed something, a guy on a motorbike trying to overrun an old lady, and Agatha Audley on the park, and Agatha Audley thinks it's very done on purpose. People say it was an accident, but she believes that it was on purpose, and she wanted to investigate. So she checked out this old lady, and this old lady turned out to be the professor of hydrology, which is like studying of water. And Agatha had noticed a tattoo of a key on her wrist. And for some odd reason, she gets very infatuated with this key symbol. And then later on, there is a thing that's happening around London that where the water has been affected by some red slime, which causes London to be having no water in the system whatsoever. Nobody has water, and when they're all they're going to get is red slime. And apparently people have been very much in trouble by getting fuses from the slime, which is really disgusting, and also having lack of water. So Agatha believes that there is a connection between the professor of hydrology and this water system shortage that has to do with the red slime. And so she is trying to figure things out and try to make some kind of connection. There's a professor, there's a motorbike, and there is the slime, and also this secret key. And that is basically what the book is about, to try and make connections as she goes. And along the way, she has been making very scary, powerful enemies, but through it all, she has made some friends. But yeah, that is basically the general idea of the story, without giving much spoilers as I could give. But I do very much love this book. It was very easy to read. I'm sure you guys that you'll be able to read a lot faster. I'm a very slow reader, but it did take me a few days to read this, so which is quick for me. And yeah, I'm definitely going to read some more books when I find them. And I do a couple of things though. Agatha Audley is a character. I don't know. I like her, don't get me wrong, but I can understand her being a bit too much. I don't know. I don't. It's quite difficult to explain. I don't like it when characters go off to find trouble. And that's the thing with Agatha Audley. Same goes for Jenny LeClue as well. Because they are sick and tired of getting simple cases, they want to go off and find challenging cases without thinking that it could harm themselves and the people around them. And Agatha does have friends that gets them to join her, and she doesn't entirely think. She's very clever, but she doesn't really think of a stretch of the consequences of herself and her friends and even her family that could potentially get hurt. And that kind of annoys me a little bit. There is one character that I do generally like that starts off as a rough patch, and then later on be able to be realizes that she has similar interests with Agatha, and be able to be her friend. So there's some kind of character progression there. I just wish that there is more progression on Agatha's side, because she is the main character. But I feel like that she doesn't really learn from her lesson, that her friends almost got hurt or even potentially killed, and then she thinks that this is it, because she has experience with this case, so she should go off and find some more dangerous cases. Even she's a 13-year-old girl, and she seems to forget that she's a 13-year-old girl that goes to school. So yeah, that threw me off. But apart from that, yes, I do generally love this book. And this is oh, and also this story is set around London, specifically around the Hyde Park area, which is where a very posh area actually, where the incident happened. That's where her dad works as a gardener, and that's also where the incident where the motorbike tried to run over the professor happened, that caused Agatha Audley to be very interested in that incident, thinking that there is a case. Yeah, if I just read out the blurb. I'll read out the blurb so you can get more taste of it. Agatha Odlo, oh that's her name by the way, Odlo, has been a detective for as long as she can remember. She's just been waiting for her first big case, and nothing gets bigger than saving the city of London from some strange goings-on. With a home in the middle of Hyde Park, a room full of beloved sleuthing novels, and a secret key that gives her access to a whole hidden side of London, Agatha is perfectly poised to solve this mystery. But just who can she trust when no one is quite who they seem? So yeah. Also, this is also, if you don't, because if you're like me and try to get a little bit of a taste of detective books, but if you feel like that Agatha Christie's a bit too difficult, kind of like me, I'm sorry, I feel a bit embarrassed, then this is a good starting point. Yes, it's a teen's book, it's a young adult book, but it's still very enjoyable, and it does give like a bit of a taste or a bit of introduction to what detective books are like. I think so stranger things are happening. Try to connect the dots and see if you can piece them together while going towards the end of the book. As Agatha Christie is definitely like Sherlock Holmes. Oh, another thing that I find interesting, and you can definitely see this in Jenny LeClue as well. As a matter of fact, you can see most of these things when it comes to detective books, is that you try to see their thought process. Let's see if I can find like an example. So thing is with detectives is that they try to get like a certain words within their mind palace. You see this in Sherlock as well, and you try to connect the dots, and it's always in like a different fonts. It's always stylized, and you're always and it's a way to try and see things visually, to try and connect the dots. It's the same thing with Jenny LeClue, when she puts her notes down on her notebook and then tried to connect the dots on there. Same goes for Sherlock Holmes, where he goes into the mind palace to try and connect the dots. You see that definitely see that in his games as well as the BBC show and the books as well. But it's sort of kind of something like this, and I do find that to be quite interesting. I would like to see more of this kind of thing. So when you see something, you try to get some kind of clues from it, to trying to figure out what they observed, and then see if they can connect the dots, which I do find to be very, very interesting. I hope that's not spoilers though, but yes, very, very, very good indeed. So my overall opinion of Agatha Audley. I would like to see more progression of the main character. I've seen a bit of progression of her friends, very much so, but I'd like to see a bit more progression of Agatha Audley. I don't think she learned her lesson much. The case I absolutely love. I love the secret key. I love the slime of the water. I thought that was a very unexpected unexpected twist. I didn't know this. I didn't know anything about water turning into a slime. I thought that was cool, and I love the connection of building up towards the end, and I love the world that it builds. So within it there is like a secret. They go to the secret tunnel quite a lot, where they feel like a lot of answers is there. It's because it's underground, it's the sewers, and it's a maze. It's a lot difficult. It's a lot of exploring, and there's a lot of secrets happening, and I find that to be very interesting as well, and I hope that there is more of that within this book. But yeah, so I do hope that you would enjoy this book as much as I do. As when to get the chance, you can easily find this in a library, or if you want to buy it, definitely, this is definitely a library book. So I know I've seen more in see more of her books in the library. So I think the other one is like Murder in the Museum. So there might be some juicy murder. I do love a good juicy murder, I'm not gonna lie. But yes, I do hope that you will get a chance to read the book. If you want if you want to get introduced to a detective book, then I do recommend this one. And maybe you would be able to get into more classicals like Agatha Christie and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And maybe you'll be able to find some more like cozy mysteries as well. There are some cozy mysteries I do want. That's why I call them cozy murder mysteries. It's a kind of like a vibe where you read a murder book in front of a fire on a rainy day kind of feeling. I kind of like that. But yeah, I have got a couple. I have finished another book as well that I want to review in a couple of days. So do keep an eye out of that. That is going to be pretty cool. And I wanted to review this book for a while because I know there is some fans of this author, and this author is very, very popular now. You probably have seen like shows and animation and even webtoons of these books. Probably not that book that I'm going to review, but definitely in her other books that I'm definitely going to read later, which I cannot wait. But yes, I do hope you very much enjoy this review. I do hope that you get a chance to read the book. It is very, very good. I give it, because of Agatha Audley's character, I was a bit put off. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. And I thought it's very decent. So I hope in the next book I'll be able to see more progression of Agatha Audley. Anyway guys, do take care. I do hope you very much enjoy this review, and hopefully I shall see you soon. Do take care. Bye bye.